Yeah, Wichter. Yeah,
What is the deal with this? Because I saw this and I couldn't track with it.
No, yeah. So somebody posted there's some stuff around the internet about that. Somebody said he did a Google image search on her photograph, on Lori's photograph.
You can do a reverse search on images.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, Google search.
Pull up matches.
Yeah, pull up matches to the images. It's not that reliable, but apparently some guy did a search and it actually pulled up some of her photos, but also pulled up a photo of this Jennifer Wichter chick. Was it? Do I have it right? Is it Wichter?
Wictor.
Oh.
Wichter is how it's
Wichter.
spelled.
So Jennifer Wichter.
One of the few notes I made.
Yeah, so she disappeared, and so somebody.
She disappeared. Let's be fair. She disappeared in May of 1988.
Yeah.
So.
There's some photographs of her out there. Some people have concluded from comparing the photographs that if Lori or Jennifer had a nose job, then there's a close match between the two.
I see it.
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, not at all. No. If you look at the two photographs, if you want to, I've got the two photographs in a file on the computer. Jennifer, well, first off, their eyebrows. Their eyebrows are shaped very differently.
Okay, but...
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah.
Women pluck their eyebrows all the time and change the shape of them.
That's true, but still, I mean, I think that's got to be one telling point.
I'm going to come next week with totally different eyebrows and see if he notices.
I'm going to come with mine penciled on.
Yeah.
And see if he notices.
Yeah.
Because mine are huge.
Well, I'm going to come with false eyelashes to see if you guys notice that. So, but the other thing about it is number one, if you look at their eyes, Lori's eyes are much larger than Jennifer's eyes. Also, they're spaced. Lori's eyes are spaced further apart. I did a quick thing. I have photo software. So I got photos of both of them.
You did the overlay? Because other people did the overlay too.
No, so I didn't do the overlay thing, but I have photo editing software that has one. It's got a shortcoming, but it's got one unique, nice little feature, and that is that it'll tell you the precise location on the X and Y plane of where your cursor is at a given time. So I drew a nice little 1 pixel line between the pupils of Lori's eyes, and I marked down and I kept track of the x-axis coordinate for those, and then I drew a line and I calculated the
nose
ratio.
doesn't. You can't with the nose. I mean, you just can't.
No. Hang on. Now, I know you're going to say that these are photographs, they're not precise, and they're slightly different angles.
But she also had a nose job.
Yeah, but you're not. You can't radically change the length of your nose. Your nose occupies a specific piece of real estate on your face.
But my issue with this is that the two photos of Lori that we're using here are from ID cards, which means that they were 1 inch by 1 inch at best images that are then blown up. So they're not going to, because God knows somebody may have stretched that photo when they put it on or compressed things. So my point that I'm getting at is that I don't think that we can say this is an ironclad exact photo of her. If we had, now there's photos of her that were available of her with her husband. That I would say is a little more indicative of what she probably truly looked like.
Yeah.
But these, I'm leery of using a ID card photo because I don't look anything like my ID card photo.
But so the photographs have been blown up.
Yeah.
True. But the basic proportions of the faces are going to be the same, in my opinion. If you look at all the different photographs that are out there, they obviously haven't been distorted hugely. I calculated the ratio between the distance between the eyes and the distance between the bridge of the nose and the end of the nose on both women. So for Jennifer, it was 1 to 1.24, and for Lori, it was 1 to 1.66.
So pretty dramatic difference.
Pretty dramatic difference, even though there are slight differences in the angles of the photos and everything. That if it had been a lot closer than that, then I would say, hey, okay, but yeah, what that means is that Jennifer's eyes are, relative to the length of her nose, much closer together. Also, if you take another close look at Jennifer in that photograph, you'll see that her left eye is slightly higher than her right eye, whereas Lori did not have that. Her eyes were at the same level.
So basically, you're pointing out there's some serious flaws in the idea that Jennifer Wichter and Lori / Jane Doe were the same person. You obviously have a lot of doubts on that.
I don't believe it at all. No.
Okay.
Well, as far as the nose job,
no, I mean,
yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that there's a lot that you can do with facial reconstruction surgery that you can drastically change the way that somebody looks. But you can't, make eyes different. I mean,
you cannot move the
Well,
eyeballs.
you probably could, but it'd be really expensive.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of scarring. And I just think that I agree. I just think that it's definitely worth the look. I think that it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, it is.
For sure,
I mean,
and that there are some pretty strong coincidences.
Yeah,
but,
well, there are some similarities. I mean, they have similar jaw lines, and their lips and the shapes of their mouths are
their
very
cheeks
similar.
are very similar.
Yeah, there are some
Their
similarities
bone
there.
structure generally is fairly similar.
Yeah, but
Generally,
but yeah.
and the fact that they were disappeared and reappeared about the same time, and
It's very convenient.
It's convenient.
Yeah, let's face it. I can see why a lot of people are interested in that, but I really don't think, they're the same person.
Okay, so let's move away from that
Move on to another theory.
rabbit hole that we just ran down for 10 minutes.
Wasn't Jennifer Wichter, but I was thinking that possibly she committed some major crime like embezzlement. Like, so imagine she works for God knows who. Let's assume that she was older than she claimed she was. She was not. She said she was 18 when she got her ID card from Idaho. Let's assume that she was like 25 or so.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say solidly she was not older than 25.
Yeah, probably not, but definitely not 18. Because after all, if you're a woman especially, and you're getting a new identity, you're gonna shave a few years off, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if the most convenient thing for you is that person would have been 18. But yeah.
Imagine that she's in a job where she realizes she's in a position to embezzle or steal a whole bunch of money. She's got to figure out a way. She knows that she's not going to get away with it, but she has this idea. What if I get myself all set up with a fake ID, and then I commit the crime, whatever the crime is, whether it's murder or stealing a whole bunch of money or whatever. And then I commit the crime, and then I just disappear. Because they can go looking for whatever my name is, Jane Doe or whatever, but I've disappeared because I got me a new identity.
Why would you stay in this country if you have a new ID? Because at the time, all you had to have to cross the border was a driver's license, some kind of ID card. So why wouldn't you just take off with a suitcase of money rather than settling in Texas?
Yeah.
And I'm not disparaging Texas. It's like, why would you just go settle in Connecticut? I mean, why would you just go settle in another state? Why wouldn't you just beat feet so you don't ever have to worry? Because obviously whatever she did, she was worried about that catching up with her.
Yeah.
So why choose that area?
The only thing I can think of for that is that she just, she didn't seem like the kind of person that could just go out and really get into or meld into another culture, like going to South America, for example, where she had to learn a whole new language.
She could have gone to England.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
That was the overarching thing is like
she
loves tea.
And she also loves Cuban food, so she could have gone to Cuba.
Yeah.
And
she could have gone to Canada. I mean,
but
she also could have been from Canada, but that's a different rabbit hole.
Now, she didn't speak with the distinctive A accent, so she had no accent apparently. But we have an extradition treaty with Britain and with Canada, so she would have probably gone to Brazil or somewhere like that.
Well, but if she had her new ID, she could have just gone over there with her new identity. I mean, that's the thing is if you have a brand new identity, why even bother staying here? Why not just go there? Because they're not going to extradite you because they're not going to be able to find you.
Yeah, so.
Also, it doesn't, on that theory, I didn't read anything that said that she had, gads of money.
No,
nothing
really. Indicated that she was high on the hog or had did better than she should have for being a secret shopper.
So I don't know if she had some. It sounded to me like she had a little bit of a nest egg, but on the other hand, she had to go work as a stripper in the early 90s.
Yeah.
So
that actually, I kind of went down the rabbit hole on this story, and I'd like to walk through that a little bit.
Yeah.
If you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
You're not going to take your clothes off, are you?
No.
Okay, thank you.
There's a lot on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of deduced that from Fife, Washington, the Idaho thing, the P.O. Box, all of this stuff.
Yeah. I'm pretty much convinced she was.
Okay, well, there's a couple of things that I've done, I spent a lot of time looking for her in databases of people who were convicted of crimes and wanted, but what I came to the conclusion of, and then I started doing some more reading, is, well, we would have had their fingerprints on file, so we would have found her pretty quick. So I abandoned that. But then that got me thinking to a couple of ways, which is, in the mid-'80s, somewhere in that range, there was a number of different things that happened. There were protests that went wrong, so there were like nuclear protests that suddenly turned violent and people died. There was eco-terrorism and protests that happened that suddenly turned violent and people were hurt and killed. So I'm thinking, well, and it makes me think of, have either of you ever read the book The Monkey Wrench Gang?
No, I've heard of it.
It's by Edward Abbey, and then he does another follow-up book called Hey Duke Lives, which is based on a character. Yeah. Anyway, it's about a group of eco-terrorists who they try to hide themselves, and regardless, it makes me think of that. So I could see her being, oh hell, that went really bad, and I'm going to be on the hook for it. So she hasn't been prosecuted. She hasn't even been arrested. She just knows that she's going to the clink. So it's time to hide. I also then started going down the rabbit hole of, okay, well, she got her new identity and she got her new breasts, and then she started stripping because that's an easy way to make money and you don't have to provide a lot of ID to be a stripper. Well, okay, well, why would you do that? What would, and I ran these weird threads, and I won't tie them all together, but you know, the Idaho thing I kind of briefly mentioned, or I started to go to earlier, was there was a lot of supremacy movements in the 80s. And these are also tied to, there's a book I read recently that I was telling Joe about. I think I told Devin about the Turner Diaries.
Yeah.
And part of the Turner Diaries is based on a supremacy movement that happened at the time that then turned into crime. So she could have been involved in that, realized everybody's going to get cleaned out because they're robbing banks now or stuff like that. And the only way I know to get away is just to completely disappear. But then that's reason I looked at it and went, well, no wonder she was stripping. She got an ID card. She didn't have a Social Security card, but all you got to do when you go to a strip club owner at that day and age, I imagine, is say, hey, look at my card. I'm over 18. Can I take my clothes off? And will you give me money?
Well, of course, yes.
So,
of course, the thing about it is, if you're involved in the white supremacist movement and there's violence going on and everything, and you don't agree with it and you want out, there's a real easy thing to do. And that is, you go to the FBI, you inform on them, and they put you in the witness protection program.
That's expecting that you're not going to get tracked out. I mean, the white supremacy movement, I equate it to kind of like the mob. They have feelers everywhere, and they're, it's like the old school mob. Oh, you rat us out? Oh, hey, we found you. We're not going to say anything. Our guy, we paid him $100,000, and he's going to walk away from the hotel room, and the maid's going to find you hanging in the shower. I mean, there's serious fear when it comes to dealing with those kind of organizations, that I can see that the person goes, you know what? My option is hope it works out for the best, or just friggin' disappear.
Yeah, but the thing about it is I would if I were Jane Doe, I'd be looking to say, probably the witness protection program. They probably know what they're doing as far as making me disappear, and they'll probably see to it that I have a little more comforts along the way. I won't entirely be on my own, broke. I'll have the feds there to provide me with at least, if not an income, at least job opportunities and stuff like that.
Maybe she was in the witness protection program and she decided it wasn't enough, so she
decided to disappear from the witness protection program.
Yeah.
I know. It's always possible.
Some agent says, oh yeah, well, occasionally what people do is they do this, and she's like, oh really? Well, let me just start going through. Well, I got nothing to do in this hotel room. Can I go down to the local library and just look through the books and look through the newspaper section? That could completely be. I mean, this is, again, as we do with so many of these random rabbit hole theories, is we stitch so many things together. But that's the thing that makes me wonder about her, because the breast implants, I know that is something that people talk about, is they say, well, implants always have a serial number. So let's get the serial
She
numbers.
was cremated, though.
Well, that, and she got them under her newest identity, so that doesn't lead anywhere. So, I mean, she's, for all things said and done, she was really, really good at what she did, which was hiding who she was.
Yeah, no, she did a good job of it. Although, again, I don't think it's rocket science. But she was pretty thorough about the whole thing. And as far as theories go, I have one last theory. So as we know, she was a little bit erratic. She kind of marched to a different drummer.
Yeah.
So I could see where she might get an idea that maybe life wasn't that great. You know, it wasn't hell on earth. She wasn't fleeing a cult. Didn't have abusive parents or anything like that. But life wasn't that thrilling for her, and she thought to herself, you know, maybe if I change my identity and move somewhere else, I'll become a whole new me. So it's not just that I have a new name and a new location. I'll turn into a different, cooler, more exciting person by having done this. Now I realize that sounds stupid, but at the same time,
thank you, because I didn't know how to put it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how many times have you seen people do things that don't make any sense?
Oh, every day.
I know. I mean, so I'm just saying that's a possibility that she might have really thought, I'm unhappy in my present life. I'm not fleeing a cult or a white supremacist gang, but I'm unhappy, and maybe if I just change my name and move somewhere else, things will get better and I'll be a happier person. Didn't really work out that way for her, but again, it's probably not the best one, but what the hell? One more theory can't hurt, right?
That's true. Yeah.
It's not going to help.
Yeah. And also, there's, of course, she was fleeing the chupacabra.
We're on that these days, aren't we?
Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah.
He really is. The chupacabra has really kind of reared his ugly little head again.
Yeah.
Flapping those little bat wings.
Yeah.
A good old chupacabra. So, you guys have any more thoughts? Any more theories?
No.
No. Other than I'm pretty sure that I'm probably in trouble because I've been scouring the FBI websites lately because of this case. And all kinds of escaped convict websites, and I'm pretty sure that I've probably gotten flagged, and I'm probably being watched
no,
now.
you've been flagged forever.
Yeah, when you bought the Turner Diaries, didn't you pay with a credit card?
I did, actually.
Yeah.
I'm probably in trouble for that.
You're on a watch list for that one, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have paid cash.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if you happen to know Jane Doe as a child, we'd like to hear from you. Maybe you lived in Fife and you remember the people who got killed in the house fire, and you remember some little girl saying, one of these days I'm going to steal her identity. We'd really love to hear from you. Other than that, that's about the end of it all. Let me give you some information that you're dying to hear. If you want to find us on iTunes and download us, you of course can do that. We would appreciate it if you'd leave a comment and a review. That'd be awesome. If you don't have time to download us, you can always find us on Stitcher and stream us. And by the way, just as an aside, we're having a few problems with Stitcher these days, so don't hold it against us. We're trying to get it fixed. We're also on Facebook, so find us on Facebook, friend us, make comments, send us money. But don't we also have a Facebook group?
We got a group, and we've got the page.
Yeah, okay.
We're having fun times. People are posting stuff there, so that's always good.
Yeah, also there's our website, which is thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. You can find our episodes there and download them, and we'll have links for you to look at and all sorts of cool stuff. And last of all, if you want to send us an email and communicate with us that way, then we're at thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. Have I missed anything?
No, you hit it. Yeah, I think you hit
Twitter.
it all. Oh, yeah, Twitter.
Oh, yeah, tweet
It's
that.
new, sorry.
3 weeks now, and we still forget.
I knew I was missing something. Yeah, so we're on Twitter. So find us on Twitter, friend us, or something.
Or something.
Yeah,
However that Twittering thing
Yeah.
Leave us a comment and a rating, whatever you do.
I think we're
on
thinking
Twitter.
sideway.
Yeah, because Twitter
it cut
has a
us off.
character limit, and we couldn't do the S. Is that what happened?
Yep.
So we're thinking idway. Oh, the other S.
Wrong
thinking
S.
sideway.
Sideway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going to come up with something more clever.
Why don't you
eventually.
do thinking sideways?
Thinking sideways.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, I think we're going to have to change that
So it's
handle.
going to be,
Yep.
look for us, add to the handle, thinking sideways.
Thinking sideways.
All right, that's it. Until next week, toodaloo.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thinking Sideways is not supported by Monkeys with Ginsu Knives. Instead, it's supported by the generous donations of our listeners on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/thinkingsideways to learn more. And thanks.
Thinking Sideways.
I don't understand.
Does not compute.
You never know.
Insufficient data to formulate a reply.
Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Well, hey there. Welcome to another episode of Thinking Sideways.